Every night, most of us lay down and spend a significant amount of time asleep. What's going on? Where are we going? What's happening? Right? Well, my understanding of what happens when the physical body sleeps is that we have sleep state experiences. And within that, I feel, to the best of my knowledge at this time, there are two main areas or, categories of experiences that we have, okay? The first is a dream. And I define a dream as a self-contained, soul-based projection, okay? Or we could go to the spirit world, which is a public space based on your own soul's emotional state, okay? Now, what do I mean by those things? Well, in a dream, every aspect of the dream comes from your soul. No one else is there. No one else is influencing you. It is all you. And the reason why it's you is because your soul is attempting to get you to work through some emotional blocks you have that are preventing you from feeling your suppressed emotions. Okay? And why are we feeling our suppressed emotions? Because we know that we've got grief that's covered by a bunch of other stuff, terror, rage, apathy sometimes, right? And by getting through that grief and releasing our false beliefs, we are able to grow in love and develop a relationship with the Creator being. In a dream, again, constructed reality, everything is about working through your emotional blocks, okay? And that means that every being you encounter is a character. That's you, okay? So if you are having a dream where you are flying through space in your spaceship and you're shooting down aliens or whatever, okay? That's saying something about you, right? Maybe like that you're resorting to technology and violence to solve your problems. Is that loving? I don't think so. I had a dream the other night where I gave a bunch of resources to my cousin, and then I found myself without any resources and I was stranded. And I had to ask him for help. So I had just given him a bunch of resources, and then I needed to rely on his kindness to give me the gift of some resources back so that I could get to where I needed to get to. Okay? That shows that I've got blocks in accepting help from other people, right? That tells me something about myself. Dreams tell you things about yourself. How about the spirit world? I talked about the spirit world before, okay? It is constructed in dimensions built on interstellar boundaries made of love, which means that your ability to navigate the spirit world is directly related to your soul's ability to reflect love. The more love you reflect, the more beautiful and loving paradise-like places you are able to visit. I mentioned in a previous video when I talked about our spirit friends that I interacted with a being known as Gandhi. It happened in the spirit world. It was not a dream. I really was interacting with his spirit. Okay? Now, I could not go visit him where he lives. It's too beautiful. I'm not in a loving enough condition to get there. But you can put out the call and you're able to meet in kind of a neutral location and have an interaction. In the spirit world, you are able to interact with beings that may or may not know you in the physical world and that may or may not have their own bodies. So like, for example, you could go to the spirit world and interact with your friend who lives down the street. You see him in the physical world, you can see him in the spirit world. Or you could interact with maybe someone who lives on the other side of the world. Of course, that would be dependent upon when they go to sleep. So let's say you are interacting with a Russian person, okay? You'll only be able to interact if you're sleeping at the same time. So like if Russia is however many hours ahead of us, whatever it is, then you would have to be sleeping at the same time they are. You see? But that can happen. So if you find yourself wanting to sleep at weird times, it's very possible that it's because maybe you enjoy interacting with people that live in a different place on the world. It's pretty cool, actually. Right? What about people that no longer have physical bodies, right? What about your family members that no longer have physical bodies? You can interact with them. Absolutely. Totally. Okay? And you may interact with people that you never even knew existed, but you would attract them based upon your own emotional state, okay? So like, let's say it is your desire to learn how to fly. Well, maybe there's a bunch of spirits that, have been in the spirit world for 400 years learning how to fly. And they like you, and they teach you what they know about that place in the spirit world. You can learn from them, Or the opposite's true, that you can share your own information with people who live in the spirit world as well. Oftentimes we set up events for the physical, okay? You ever go on a date with somebody or hang out with somebody randomly and it's like, wow, we get along so well. It's almost like we've done this before. It's because you have done it before. In the spirit world. Okay? Or how about maybe you show up at a place and a friend of yours randomly shows up there as well. This actually happened to me today. I went to my favorite vegan restaurant and I'm sitting there waiting for them to bring out my food so I can leave, to go. And as one of the fellows brings out my food, here's one of my friends just standing at my car window. Haven't seen her in 4 months. There she is. We had an hour and a half long conversation. It was great. Actually, we talked a lot about what's going on in the world. Okay. There's a high probability, I do not know this for certain, but there is a high probability that we met each other in the spirit world and set up that event. Yeah. Pretty cool, right? You can experiment with this. Like, if you have people in your life that are into this kind of stuff, they're into spiritual experimentation, set something up. Say, okay, let's meet somewhere and discuss something. Or let's meet in a forest and hang out together, right? And then wake up and see if you do remember interacting with the person, hey, were you there? Did you remember this? Play around with this stuff, right? This is how we grow our intuition. This is how we grow our spiritual abilities about knowing and feeling and being and manifesting. The other component to this is we act out our desires more honestly. So in the spirit world, there is no human authority. And there are no societal norms. Okay? Now, it is a sad truth that we have many intergender emotional injuries in this place. Okay? And unfortunately, a lot of men cheat on their partners. Okay? I actually had a conversation the other day with two fellows in a coffee shop who had no trouble telling me about how they were unfaithful to their wives. No trouble. Okay? They would never tell it to their wives. But they no problem telling me. Which actually says something about their relationship because they don't feel they can be honest with their wives, or they fear what will happen if they're honest with their partners about that. Okay? what does that mean? It means like, in this situation, maybe you're going and having sex with people who are not your partner. Well, if it's just a dream, did it actually happen? Yeah. Because guess what? It wasn't a dream. You're in spirit world. Okay. How about taking it another step further, right? Let's say you're a violent, aggressive person and you feel that women exist for your sexual pleasure. You're likely to rape someone in the spirit world. How about I know this is uncomfortable to think about, okay? I get it. But if we're holding back and being untruthful with how we feel inside of our soul in the physical world, it is suppressing our emotions. And because we are acting out our desires in the spirit world, even if they are non-loving, it is useful because it tells us what is inside of us. If you don't view yourself as a rapist, but you're raping people in the spirit world, you're a rapist. That doesn't mean you always have to be a rapist. It means you just need to address the emotional conditions that put you in the situation where that actually was your desire. Like, why would you be bothering raping someone who doesn't want to be with you when you could be like surfing on rainbows, or like hanging out with animals that no longer exist on this planet, learning the truths of the universe, having fun, right? Oftentimes we can't have fun because of the whole levels thing, right? So like if you wake up and you're shaking or you feel uncomfortable, you're actually feeling fear, potentially from your sleep state experiences. Also because, as we talked about in the spirit people video, there are spirit people on the earth everywhere. And most of them are in a dark condition, okay? Now, most of us can't perceive them when we're awake in the physical body. But when we are in the spirit world, we navigate the spirit world through our spirit body. So as your spirit body leaves your physical body, you see all these people, okay? In how they really are. So like, maybe they look ghoulish, or their skin looks like it's melting, or they've got horns coming out of their head, or whatever, okay? It's a reflection of their particular emotional injuries. They are still human. Although they may not even think of themselves as human. They may be so dark, they don't even think of themselves as human. And that might terrify you, okay? But again, what is that? A law of attraction event in order to get us to feel out our own terror. This does not have to be fearful or terrible experiences. But if we've got huge amounts of suppressed emotion inside of us, we are going to attract events in the spirit world that we may not attract in the physical world, because it's harder to attract things in the physical world. The physical world happens slower, right? And you can use various comforts and your own particular situation to avoid feeling a lot of your own fear in the physical world. You can't do that in the spirit world, okay? We have less abilities to fulfill our own addictions in the spirit world. I'll tell a quick story regarding my own spirit world experiences, okay? I'll talk about repressed memories and uncovering memories in a future video, but essentially I had, some emotions I worked through, and when I worked through those emotions, things come back to you, right? I had a dream when I was 12, okay, where the pastor from the church I belonged to, him and I were in like a room, like a vestibule at the back of the church, okay? And he made it, he was expressing that he was going to put his penis in my mouth, okay? Now, I I expressed to him that if you put your penis in my mouth, you are not going to get it back. And furthermore, when you are writhing around on the ground in pain, I'm going to find something sharp and stab you in the eye. Yeah, because, if you're a priest, you can wear a cloak or robe, and you can hide a severed penis. But you're going to have a real difficult time explaining to your congregation why a 12-year-old stabbed you in the eye. Now, did that event happen in the physical world? No. Did that guy even ever come near me in the physical world? No. No. But we, again, look to set up events in the physical world, okay? So oftentimes a predator will seek out and test the mettle of their prey to see if they can get away with it in the spirit world. If they can get away with it in the spirit world, they try it in the physical world. So, a lot of people have fear about these things, okay? I encourage you to feel out your fear. Feeling out your fear is a good thing. In fact, there's oftentimes I wake up with tears in my eyes. I have no idea why I was crying, but I was releasing grief. And that's great. That is exactly what we want to do, right? Because releasing grief allows the Creator's truth to enter us, and we grow in love, okay? I encourage you, of course, you don't have to trust me or believe me. You can experiment with this, okay? Have fun with it, right? Love and peace, friends.